At the end of today's show, I want you to walk away not thinking about retirement as an age that somebody decides when you can retire, but as a number, a strategy, and most importantly, a choice that you have to design the retirement of your own dreams. Hello and welcome back to the Moneymatics podcast. My name is Amaba Bala, and on this podcast we talk about all things money, especially as it concerns the African living in diaspora, and we break down money talk into real life strategies that you can apply for wealth, for freedom, and for making impact. On today's show, I'm talking about something that affects all of us. I'm talking about retirement. At the end of today's show, I want you to walk away from not thinking about retirement as an age that somebody decides when you can retire, but as a number, a strategy, and most importantly, a choice that you have to design the retirement of your own dreams. So, on today's episode, we're going to talk about why, depending on government schemes, may not be the way to go, and it may cost you when it comes to retirement. We're going to talk about why planning retirement for yourself is very important. We're going to talk about what you can invest in, how you can start, and then we're going to see how other people who have retired early and lived the life that they want. Now, if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, I want to encourage you to please do that before we go on. Please click the subscribe button, click the notification button, whether you're watching on YouTube or you're listening on Spotify. We want to get to 100 subscribers this month, and I know that we can do it. At the moment, we have around 78 subscribers, and I know that if you tell a friend to tell a friend and you subscribe and your friends subscribe, we can actually reach that target before the end of this month. So please, let's do it together. And so let's get right into the topic of today. Let's talk about this retirement age. The retirement age in a lot of countries start from like 60, 65, 70, and even recently, Denmark voted in to increase the retirement age to 70. They claim that people are living longer, and so the life expectancy is longer, is higher, and therefore people need to work longer to be able to contribute to the society and contribute to the pension scheme so that it can go round. And that's something that made me think a lot, and it's at the crux of everything that we want to talk about today. Leaving retirement up to somebody else to determine, versus you planning for your own retirement, thinking about what you can do with your money outside of the usual pension schemes and all of that. So let's talk about the traditional pension and retirement scheme in a lot of countries. The thing is, it's an administrative construct. It's something somebody calculates based on different factors, and then they arrive at, in this country, the life expectancy, the amount of work people do and how much they earn, and this is the age that we think that people should be retired. It is a social contract. It is an administrative construct. It shouldn't be up to somebody else to determine when you will retire, or when you will leave active service, or when you will get to enjoy time with your grandchildren, enjoy time with yourself, do the things that you've always wanted to do. That should be up to you as an individual to determine. Another thing is the fact that people are living longer and there is pressure on the retirement scheme means that you can't even rely on them. The goalpost is always being shifted forward. Today it's 60, and tomorrow it's 65, and then it's 70, and then maybe it's 75 someday. Who knows? And that is why you cannot rely solely on the traditional pension scheme for your retirement. You need to, like everything else in life, to take the bull by the horn and make your own personal choices that reflect what you want in your life. Again, if you wait for somebody else to determine when you will retire, you might not be as strong as you want to be. You might not be as agile as you want to be. You might be delaying life till some later time in the future. That is not guaranteed. And so that is why today we really want to talk about this thing called retirement. A lot of us don't think about, retirement until maybe we're closer to 40, closer to 50. That's when we start thinking. But I want to challenge the person listening to me today who is probably 40 or 45 or someone else who is probably 20, that the earlier you start, the better. $100 or 2,000 crowns or 200 pounds saved today from the age of 20 for 40 years makes a huge difference from $200 or 2,000 crowns or 200 pounds saved from the age of 45. Time really counts. So start early, start today, and start thinking about what you want for yourself. Now, before you even start thinking of, oh, should I save? Should I not save? How should I save? I want you to think. Everything usually starts with the why, the mindset beyond the numbers. I've always talked about the fact that everything finances that we talk about is not really about the numbers, it's really about the mindset shift, it's about the knowledge, it's about what you desire. Think of retirement not just as a deadline that somebody sets for you. Think of retirement as a choice, an option to be able to spend your life the way you want, to be able to spend your life the way you desire, the way you dream of, and not just based on some numbers or some restrictions because you can't but work until a certain age because you do not have savings put aside. So what I want you to do is sit down with yourself, take a pen and paper, like I always say, write down the vision, make it plain so that those who run with it can run with it, write it down, sit with yourself, spend that time with yourself. If you're single, spend that time with yourself. If you're a couple, sit down and say, what do we want for ourselves? When do we want to retire? I always think of retirement and I think about my parents. They retired around when they were like 55, 56, somewhere there. They had worked for 30 years and then they were able to retire because they started working early. So according to the rules, when my parents are about to retire, it's either you've worked 30 or was it 35 years or you are 65. And for them, the number of years of working came first. So they had worked 30 years of service by the time they were 55 and then they retired. And then after that, they've gone on to do the things that they love. They're doing missions, they're doing all kinds of things. And I've always dreamed like, that's what I want. I want to retire when I'm still young, when I'm still agile, when I still have it in me to do the things that, I'm writing down in paper right now and say, oh, I'll find time to do this. I'll find time to do this. That's what I really want for myself. And that is one of the reasons I've really been talking about retirement and I've been thinking about it for myself. And I'm telling you today that you really need to think for yourself, what do you want? How do I want to retire? What do I dream of doing? How early do I want to stop a 9-to-5 job or this? When do I? And sometimes retiring isn't really about you saying I'm no longer working. It's about you saying I want to work on my own terms. Maybe I want to work part-time, maybe I want to freelance, maybe I want to have more time to do some other things that I love, and I want to have the freedom to take out my money when I want. In a lot of countries, you can't even take out your money that you're saving up for your retirement and for your pension until you are a certain age. And that certain age today might be 55, in some countries might be 50, but you don't know what's going to happen to that age tomorrow. The government might wake up one day and say, oh, people are living longer, you can't take your money out until you're 55. Oh, we changed the policy, you can't take it out until you're 60. You cannot leave your life to somebody else to determine. No matter how good these plans are by the government, especially those of us that live in Europe and a lot of things are, socialist in nature, you cannot live your life just for somebody else to determine. Your life should be something that you determine, you plan for yourself, and it goes as you want to the best of your ability. As believers, I'm a Christian, we pray, we hope, and all of that. But some things are not things that you just hope only for or just pray only for. You also need to plan for them. You need to plan for them. It requires planning. So before you start the mathematical planning, start the mind planning. What do you want? What are your dreams? What are your aspirations? When you're 50, what do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? It might even be that would get you, more healthy. You might start eating right. You might start exercising right because you want something else for yourself. And then when you are done with your dreams and aspirations and how you want it to be, I want you to get to the nitty-gritty and the mathematical part of your planning. So how should you think when it comes to practicalities? If you've decided when you want to retire or how you want to retire, how early you would want to stop working on other people's terms and start working on your own terms, then you can then go ahead to plan, okay, what's the number I'm aiming for? There's so many apps, even your bank has something you can use to calculate how much you need to save to be able to get to a particular amount of money, and play with those things and then begin to save monthly towards that. And where should you save? Save in, like we've been talking about, index funds, ETFs, save in the stock market if you can, save in real estate, buy properties that you can rent out. If you can't rent out properties where you live in Europe, think of other countries where you can probably buy a property and then rent out, or that can have cash flow. Think of other things, think outside the box. Of course, I would always say maybe their first port of call is to invest in the stock market, invest in funds, put money in an investment savings account, in a trust fund or whatever it is, but make sure that it is yours to determine how you use it, how you take money out of it, and then just begin to set apart money now. The difference between you doing that and not doing it is huge. It's huge. I cannot, if I had a pen and paper, I would calculate for you. So you need to start doing that now, and you need to do it according to what you like. If you're the kind of person that doesn't mind the stock market, please go ahead and put your money in it. If you are the real estate person, find the best real estate investment for you. That means that you would not be stressing out when you are old and not as agile as you would want to be, but there will be cash flow coming. There is also the aspect of buying businesses, of looking into which businesses are viable to buy, and then going ahead to see what you can do. We are talking now about wealth shift that would be happening between the baby boomers, people that own companies in the past and are getting older, and they're looking to pass them on to other people or to bring in new blood to, re-strategize, to rename, to package a company, and then to start making money again. And we are in that place where we can start getting ready for that. You can buy businesses that will be running on their own, and then you have money coming in when you're ready to retire, but it will be at your own terms. If there's anything I want you to take away from this episode today, it's that mindset shift. How do you want to retire? And don't leave it up to a government scheme, somebody else to determine for you. Begin to plan for what you want for yourself today. Now, we've talked about, just like every other type of investment that you're doing, whether you're doing investment for your children, for the future, for pension, we always talk about automating. Don't let it be something that you wake up in the morning, you do it this month, you don't do it next month. Start automating as soon as possible. If you're doing ETFs and index funds and stocks and all of that, investment savings accounts, start automating. Diversify your investment. Don't just put all your investment in real estate. There are people who bought houses, they bought buildings, and then those buildings became liabilities for them. Think and diversify, and then do what works for you. Really sit with yourself. It's something that I encourage a lot of people to do. Sit with yourself and really do what works for you in terms of your planning. Do what works for you. And like we said, retirement is not just about ending work. It's about the freedom to choose how you want to work, what you want to do with your time, and how you want to spend that time while you are still young, while you're still agile, while you can run around, while you can play with your kids, your grandkids, while you can, fulfill purpose, everything that God has deposited in you, while you still have the capacity to do them, not when you're frail, you are old, you are aging, and you are tired. You want to do these things that you love while you're young. And that is what retirement for me is. And that is what I want you to think about. That retirement should not be an age that somebody determines for you. It should be something that you have thought about, that you have taken control of, and that you have planned towards. So as I close today's episode, this is the thought I want to leave with you. Retirement isn't just an age that somebody determines. It's a plan, it's a strategy, it's something that you start planning for now. And I want you to start doing that today, so that in the next 20, 30, 40 years, we'll be here sipping. What do you think we'll be sipping? We'll be sipping tea, sipping wine, sipping whatever, and enjoying our lives because we took the plans into our own hands and we planned it by the grace and the help of God. We're not leaving it up to the government. Okay? So until I come your way again, this is the Moneymatics podcast. And don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to be part of what we're doing here. And let me know in the comment section what you are thinking. What are your dreams? What is your retirement? What is your ideal retirement age? When do you want to retire? And what do you dream of doing when you retire? Let me know in the comment section. All right then, until I see you again, this is the Moneymatics podcast. Have a nice day.